interesting result here for Morocco. Obviously, they're coming in as the massive favorites, but Mali was able to really force themselves and find a way to get a result and get a point. How massive is that for Mali?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd said it before that Mali is not a team that should be looked down upon. I mean, Mali is a team with loads of talent and actually a rather deep squad, a rather deep team. I don't even think the starting 11 is their best squad. And I did mention that I believe that they could fight for first place. This is a spectacular result for them, I think. And they can go on and try to defeat Comoros. I mean, again, Comoros isn't a team that's, just been walked all over by any team, including Morocco. But I think Mali will trust themselves to get the results there. And for me, I think that, Morocco struggled a little bit. I think they noticed that their reputation alone, their status as favorites alone, the fact that they have home field advantage, those things alone won't get the job done. They will have to play. And they're going to meet substantially more talented and difficult teams to play against in AFCON if they want to win it. And Mali proved that they're going to have to play well to do so.
I got to ask you about that final game now against Zambia, for Morocco in particular. Obviously, they took the game slightly, would I say, maybe their eye off the ball and rotated, and they weren't necessarily finishing their chances tactically, not at their best. But this final group game means a lot as you go and try to get momentum going into the knockout stages.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to want to get a solid 3 points. They're going to want to play well. And actually, I think Zambia is a decent test themselves. They didn't play very well against Comoros. But I say this time and time again, they're a team that do boast a few talented players. They have won AFCON before. So it will be good for Morocco, I think, for their morale to bounce back and to maybe get a 3 points against Zambia. And of course, as you mentioned, that will help them with their momentum going into the next round, where certainly it gets so complicated. Again, not just because of teams, technical quality, but the physical nature of this AFCON, the hunger that teams have to get victories over their rivals. I think the intensity of this game, for example, was exemplary in that regard. So I think Morocco will love to get 3 points on the board versus Zambia.
All right, Mbizo, let's move over to Group B and that match of penalties, really. Egypt got theirs controversially, and South Africa did not get theirs controversially. What do you, first off, just on those two decisions, what are your thoughts? Because we've had a lot of disagreements here in the studio, and I think most would agree here that the not giving South Africa that penalty late in that match for that handball is pretty asinine.
We're looking for honest opinions, curse words and all, please.
All right. Well, I was going to ask you if you wanted me to respond to you as a journalist or as a Bafana fan.
As a Bafana fan, my man.
Well, fortunately, the answers are the same either way. For me, I thought the penalty on Mo Salah, I thought was, it was soft, but I can understand the referee's propensity to give that. I mean, as you see the image there, fully fledged hand on the face. Perhaps his hand was a bit forced. And of course, I think in slow motion on VAR, certain actions, certain incidences can seem a lot worse than they are. And you used the correct word earlier, Stefano. I think the issue is consistency. If you're going to give a penalty like that, then I think Bafana deserved one on the other end, which I thought was an even more obvious penalty. Took tons of time to go to VAR. And then after VAR, it was the wrong decision. And, I don't want to make any big claims here, but let's just say that, players the size and the quality of Mohamed Salah and nations that are as large as Egypt, they don't need any help getting any further in this tournament. They're quality players. They can do it on their own. And I just feel like we mustn't allow any outside narratives, any legends, any myths or, of African football to affect the officiating, which I feel is something that happened today. For me, an absolute disgrace not to give Bafana the penalty. And yes, I do say that as a Bafana fan, but absolutely as an objective analyst of the game.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think that the word disgrace is massively important when it comes to big decisions and big games, especially when there's been few controversial decisions in the tournament so far. Consistency is key. You've got to get it right. And unfortunately, the officiating, including video VAR, interfering all the time to the referee's decision. Like, at some point, you just got to trust the referee to make the decision and move on with it. But at the same time, if you're going to use video review, use it correctly. Make sure that it's done correctly and find some sort of consistency. Speaking of your Bafana, right? South Africa had 17 shots on goal, obviously, against Egypt in that second half. That's the most by them or any other nation in a single half, first or second, in this competition since 2010. Why were South Africa not able to get that goal in the second half? We can't can't just blame it down to officiating. South Africa created enough chances and probably should have scored.
No, absolutely not. It's not only down to the officiating, to the point where I was quite disappointed with South Africa's performance in the first half. I thought we did get a bit fortunate with the red card. It would have been a different game had it been 11 versus 11. But I was proud of the boys to come out. Yes, Egypt had 10 men, but it is still Egypt. It is still the most successful team on the African continent. It is still a quality team. And I think that's why South Africa wasn't able to get on the score sheet as we'd like, because Egypt demonstrated why they've won this competition so many times. The mental and emotional fortitude to adjust the game, to the courage to pull out Marmoush, player of that quality, and to decide, you know what, we are going to grind it out for these points. We like to say down here in Brazil that teams that know how to suffer are often the teams that know how to be victorious. And I think these North African teams, in a general sense, are quite apt at suffering through a game. When the football isn't going the way they'd like, when the tactics aren't going the way they like, the calls, so on and so forth, they're able to dig deep and do absolutely whatever it takes to get the victory. And this isn't just about hard work. It's about the discipline of being able to keep tight, to keep compact, and not allow your adversary to find any space. And Egypt did that wonderfully. They did it masterfully. And I think they demonstrated why they are among the giants of African football. And unfortunately, we demonstrated that we have a lot of work to do to be considered among the top dogs in African football.
Mbizo Mzamane breaking down all of the AFCON action as always. Thank you, my man.
Man, that was passionate. I love it.
Love it.
Thanks, James.
Let's keep the conversation going here, Ian, because this Egypt side,
yeah,
it's interesting because the pressure is on for Mohamed Salah to win with his national team. Hasn't been able to do that, has won everything with Liverpool, obviously. With everything going on in Liverpool, was this the perfect time for him to go and focus on his national team and going to try to win that? Or is that pressure just continuing to mount for him going from club to country?
I was listening to a fabulous interview on my way to the studio today from former Liverpool CEO Peter Moore. And he talked about Mohamed Salah and the situation that he just went through recently with Liverpool Football Club and the way he handled it. It was uncharacteristic for him, but obviously under a bit of pressure. We've seen it in his contract, maybe a pressure from his agent, maybe also pressure on himself to want to play football games. I think sometimes you can make mistakes. But one thing he is never, ever critiqued for is for his hard work and his effort. This guy is performing incredibly well for his national team. If you consider what he's done this season alone, for Liverpool, he scored 5 goals in 20 games for Liverpool across all competitions. He scored 5 goals in 5 games for Egypt in that period of time as well. And it tells you there's a bit of joy there, okay? There's joy, there's excitement. He's obviously enjoying this competition. He wants to win this competition for his nation. I don't blame him for that as well, because he wants to be celebrated for the hero that he truly is. What a remarkable football player, what he's done in football, what he's done for a whole generation coming through following him. He's a hero to so many people. His AFCON stats don't lie as well. Since making his debut in 2017, Mohamed Salah has now scored 9 goals. No player scored more goals than 9 goals in AFCON since 2017, since Mohamed Salah made his debut. So it tells you how good he is and how important he is for his national team, but also the goal contributions. I think only Sadio Mane's had more goal contributions in that period of time, being 15 compared to the 13 from Mo. But this is a tournament that, if you remember Messi, and of course you do, 2020, I feel like so many people were supporting Argentina who were not Argentinian because they wanted Lionel Messi to have success in that competition. And albeit I'd love to see Morocco have success in this competition, I am a big Mohamed Salah fan. Okay, I've critiqued Liverpool and I've critiqued his performance. I love Mohamed Salah and what he stands for. So I would love to see him have success in this competition. And my oh my, he's doing everything he possibly can to make sure he lifts his nations to do that.
Have you seen enough from this Egypt side to make you believe that they can win?
Not yet. I don't think any of them have performed their best of their abilities.
Agreed.
You know, Egypt not at their best. Morocco, again, we saw today's performance, not at their best. Rotation, I understand. There's a few nations that are a surprise package, but I think now what we're recognising in this generation, this Gen Z, crazy, weird generation that you all beautiful people are, a lot of people out there support players more than they do teams or nations. So there's a lot of Mohamed Salah fans out there who want him to have success in this competition more than even caring about Egypt having success. But could you imagine if that nation won it? Incredible. What that would do for their people?